Hi everyone, and Dragon with you. So today we have a new bounty event and also it's about Arachne. So you can get her souls and other valuable prizes. Then you need to get more VIP points if you want some extra rewards. Then we have spending emeralds, so up to 65,000 emeralds. And finally spending energy, so up to 15,000 energy. So what can I say about Arachne? After her rework, she is even more effective than before. And you see that I actually need 57 more souls to make her absolute star. Actually, I plan to go for it. So let me show you some of the teams with Arachne, which are really effective. And I tested them on like top 31 arena teams. So I picked some of them to formulate 7 teams. And this other team is by my guildmate. So that's his team for Guild War. Okay, so that's the test. Check this out. We have 7 teams here. And the first team which we have is a Jorgen team. So with Lian, let's see the stats, let's see the patronage. So maybe I didn't copy exactly the same patronages because on Arena I can't see the patronage, only the hero and the pet, right? And actually that's a Maya team. So Maya, Arachne, Celeste, Jorgen, Astaroth. That's the team which typically Dirtyduzen plays, but I could just swap some patronages, I could change something, but still that's the idea. So the first team which I wanted to introduce for you is Dirtyduzen's team. Let me show you the gameplay of this team. So the idea is kind of simple. We have Celeste to double buff the mages. We have many mages who benefit from magic attack, also some magic penetration, so the buffs kind of stack together. Also we have some magic defense and armor to survive and magic penetration. So the main damage dealer usually is Maya with her roots. When she is buffed, she deals a huge amount of damage and also can survive quite a long time. As a result, you see the victory here, also a ton of debuffs. So let me introduce now my own team. So the idea is kind of simple. First of all, you need to make Arachne effective against the front line. So that's when you can convert her magic damage into pure damage. And here her Iris helps a lot. But Iris needs protection from heavy damage. That's why I picked Oliver for Iris. Corvus to get even more damage with Albus, but remember that you need to either heal or protect him later on. So we have Nebula here to remove the buffs and to have extra healing, and also Axel to direct damage. This idea is kind of simple. So we have Dorian, who is standing near to Arachne and Iris, and near to Nebula. Arachne is far away, so usually she can't lifesteal, while Iris and Nebula stand near enough to Dorian, but at the same time, as a result, all of them can lifesteal. So let me show you the second fight with my own team, which I collected today. So I did some testing and thought, okay, so Aurora is super popular, and what's the character who can counter Aurora pretty nicely? Obviously, that's Iris. So she makes a copy of the soul of Aurora. As a result, our damage becomes pure and it becomes much more effective. At the same time, you see that Corvus burned Lian, burned Celeste, so Corvus is another damage dealer. At the same time, he is a tank, and actually his role is to tank, to remove dodge effects, armor effects with his ability, and just to get everybody burnt with the totem. So as a result, in fact, we have several damage dealers here, and you see that the gameplay for this team. Okay, so what about the second test? The second test was about a Keira crit team. And this time I tried several options. At first I tried kind of original Dirtyduzen team. You see that we had a lose here. It failed. Then I tried to just test several options. And in the end, I went right to the Dorian option here. So with Astaroth, it did not work. You see that Astaroth failed. But with Corvus, everything went just exactly what I wanted. So Corvus is effective against Keira, no doubt. But you need to heal him, you need to help him. So we have Oliver here this time, not Axel, because Keira damages all the stack. As a result, I wanted to get some extra healing, some extra defense from physical damage, because this team is about physical damage anyway. And check this out. So we have just the combo, the burning of Corvus and Arachne as a finisher. And then this team just doesn't have enough damage, so we need to make Corvus alive somehow. For that we have help from the pet, also help from Nebula if she can heal him in time. And as a result you see that Corvus just goes through the front line. At the same time the synergy of Iris and Arachne just gets the souls in front. And instead of casual damage, you have the damaged soul, which is pretty easy for Arachne. So that's the second team, and this time my team worked nicely. After these tests, I thought, okay, so maybe my team is effective. Maybe we can test it on other stacks. So let's check my other scenes. So that's another arena team. I picked that from top arena players. I can't be sure that patronage is right, but the idea is pretty same. So here I tried to use Dirtyduzen's team and it didn't work. Then I tested some more stuff and it didn't work with Astaroth. And then I just picked same team as you just saw. So here we had an option to remove Yasmine with Corvus, obviously. Then we need something against Isaac, because Isaac really likes when you get a lot of magical damage straight into the opponent's team. That's why my tests with mages were not as successful. At the same time, when you play Iris, then you are able to remove the front line. That's the soul. You see that the soul gets damaged, and as a result, the enemy gets pure damage. And that works pretty okay. So we get help from Iris to remove the front line. We get help from Corvus to remove some damage dealers to everybody. And this time you see that I played over again. The patronage was set as for Arachne with Axel in order to survive better against physical damage. So I swap patronage according to the situation. Sometimes I play Axel, sometimes I play just the debuff, right? So So here we have a physical team. That's why I play Axel. Another option was Mara. Mara is used for the buffs, typically. Okay, so after that, I wanted to test another team, so let's check what happened here. Here we have a Maya, Jorgen, Celeste team. That's one of variations which Dirtyduzen played. And here we have victory with both options, so with Dirtyduzen's option and with my own option. So let me show you both fights, just for information, how it works. So, typical idea, just use the multiple buffs, use Maya as the main damage dealer, and also we have a lot of debuffs here. So the opponent gets energy blocks, stuns, and also at the same time we have Maya's ability to drag everybody with her roots. Here we go, so this team is just dead. That's the gameplay of Dirtyduzen's team. So let me show you the gameplay of my team now. It's pretty similar to what you already saw, but the difference is that probably now you don't need a serious defense from physical damage, because the opponent does not rely on physical damage. At the same time, you see that Celeste was burnt really fast, and Maya is also damaged, even before I managed to go through the front line. Now Astaroth is down, thanks to Iris. And once again, so they stand near Jorgen, as a result they lifesteal, as a result I don't need to heal them extra. So Nebula can work with the front line and Corvus and Arachne. So Arachne also can heal herself because of vampiric ability. So actually, yes, I understand that her vampiric percentage is not super high, but still she is able to heal herself somehow. So at this option, I just used another thing. So here we see Mara to make her stun effects longer. At the same time, most of other buffs were not moved, except Corvus's buff and Iris's buff. I swapped them just to make Corvus survive longer. and to get Iris more damage, because I thought that, okay, we need more damage. And the pet is Biscuit. So the pet is Biscuit because we didn't need to get the damage split. Anyway, Maya is the damage dealer here, right? So even with Jorgen, it's still okay. If Dorian dies, okay, I can afford that. But we need the opponent to stop healing themselves. As a result, Biscuit did it perfectly. So that's my idea against this team. What next? So next we have 3 more teams, and actually this team is about ODH plus Sebastian. And you see that actually, yes, Sebastian is usually effective against Arachne, no doubt, so he removed the buff, right? But the problem is actually that's not enough to stop Iris. Yes, just like I said, so check this out, we have this fight, everything looks normal to the opponent, then we have a typical dragging from Maya. Actually, I don't like playing Maya versus Dorian because that's kind of disastrous. The enemy gets lifesteal for everybody. So I know that the first team with Dirtyduzen was not a good idea to play, but I just wanted to test it, right? So you see the result is not what I wanted, and that's why I tested my own team. Let's see. So I don't recommend playing Maya versus Dorian because she drags everybody to Dorian. As a result, you get lifesteal for the entire team. So let's see what my team managed to do here. You remember that Hellios deals multiple hits of damage, and Corvus really likes that. So as soon as we have the totem, Corvus will get burned soon. At the same time, we see the soul of Aurora, which already received a lot of damage and destroyed the main the main part of Aurora. And as you can see, it just goes through everything. So Corvus removes part of armor, he removes part of dodge. Now we had a soul of Dorian in front line. And here we go. So if you compare the patronage, actually I played Mara again because I didn't need to be seriously protected from physical damage. And at the same time I played Axel in order to make our team survive. That's the stats. And once again, a typical Corvus with bonus damage and Iris with bonus heal. So what next? Next we have the team with Kark. So it's a Kark pack, and actually both teams were tested. Again, you see that Dirtyduzen's team didn't do it in time. And so I decided to pick my own team. What's the problem here? Let me show you. So we have Isaac, who charges, who silences everybody. He's not afraid of Jorgen. You remember that probably. So he just can go on silencing. And you see that actually this team just was destroyed. So what about my team? My team also was tested at the Skark pack. And actually, let's see what happened here. The idea is pretty simple. So Corvus needs to burn Yasmine with the help of Arachne. They should do it. At the same time, you see that I protected my Iris from Yasmine. As a result, Yasmine is dead, but Iris is still there. Still, we have the second life. Okay, so what next? Next, we have another portion of pure damage for Yasmine. She is already gone. Same about Celeste with her dark part, right? So she deals damage to the entire team when I try to heal and gets back the damage from the totem. And finally, yes, the altar, right? The altar. I don't know why I call it the totem, just the altar of souls, I guess. So we have Iris with Oliver. That's why she survived against Yasmine long enough. Corvus with bonus damage. This time Arachne had Axel because I didn't want her to die from Kark or Yasmine. Dorian with Merlin and Nebula typically with Skin. Axel against Kark is effective. So that's my test. What next? We have the 7th team. So the 7th team is an Undead team. This team was picked from my own ally, and I think we can test it. So let's see what happened when I tested this team. All other teams were picked from top 31 players of my server. So I just picked several teams which I found entertaining, so they included some huge combinations, or Sebastian or Isaac. And you see that actually we have a problem, so Celeste gets burnt with the Altar of Souls, I guess. But still, this team managed to survive, so Dirtyduzen's team gets the victory. Sometimes I just swap the patronage, so I just swap Jorgen with Astaroth patronage, and the others are kind of same. That's the stats. And the last thing is how my own team played here. So that's a Corvus versus Corvus fight. And check this out. So the opponent plays Isaac. Keira is already dead because of this altar of souls. And at the same time, we are able to drag the soul of Corvus and remove him pretty fast. As a result, my team does not suffer. And at the same time, Isaac just can't charge really fast because I rely not just on magic damage, but on pure damage. Thanks to Iris, we can do a lot of damage. And Isaac, you see that Isaac is still not ready to act. So just a clean victory with zero problems. This time I used Arachne with Mara once again because we didn't have Sebastian and we didn't have like crazy buffed Keira or something. So just typical damage from Keira. And Oliver to protect me from physical damage, obviously. So actually the result is my team killed all 7 teams, which is pretty nice.